Customer feedback can be a goldmine for marketing teams. In today's era, anyone can dump a CSV into a chatbot and ask it to provide a summary. The challenge is getting quality outputs that provide actionable next steps, creating visuals to showcase changes in sentiment over time, and then sharing all of these insights with internal stakeholders. In this example, we're going to be conducting voice of customer analysis for the retail brand West Elm. We have an AI generated CSV with sample data, but you'll be able to bring in any customer feedback you have. After you import your data, AI will get to work immediately to extract key insights across all customer feedback. Field agents will categorize insights and also assign positive or negative sentiment scores. Next, we'll conduct an analysis to generate a structured report based on all these insights, break things down into common themes and value pillars. You can add your own themes and value pillars or let AI generate them based on your data. We can then bucket all of these insights into themes and value pillars. And after that, we can conduct a website alignment analysis where AI will evaluate our website messaging against customer feedback. AI is going to then identify alignment gaps and provide recommendations to strengthen trust and improve conversions. These detailed outputs are really challenging to get consistently inside of a chatbot. Plus, you have the benefit of having everything structured in a way that it's easy to read and has sources, so that way you can verify the data and feel comfortable sharing it with your internal stakeholders. You'll also get a dashboard that'll help you visualize positive and negative changes across key value pillars and deep dive into individual summaries. So there you have it. No back and forth dialogue inside of a chatbot. All you have to do is import your data. Airtable has all the prompting and logic built in to help provide high quality structured reports, actionable next steps, and an interface that you can easily share with your team in a matter of minutes. Let's now talk about the setup process. The first step is going to be to import your data. You can do that by just dragging and dropping a CSV file that you have. Once you hit upload file, you'll be taken to a screen to where you can make sure that all of the data maps to the correct fields. These are going to be your primary fields. This is going to be your source data, your source date, and the URL if you have any, and also the source type. You can then see all of your data populate right here and verify that everything did in fact load in correctly. We have an automation that's working in the back end to link all of these sources to the new report that you've built out. And if you click into the grid view, you can just kind of see the progress on this. You're going to want to make sure that the reports have linked correctly across the board. So give it about a minute to go through that process. And once that's complete, you can move on to the next step. When you click on extract insights, it's going to go through all of the feedback, extract key insights, and then field agents are going to take each insight and categorize it and also attribute positive or negative sentiment. After that, you can go into generating your report. And once you do that, it's going to generate a report. It's going to generate key themes and also value pillars. These are going to be really detailed reports. And if you want to edit any of the themes or value pillars, you can go ahead and do that right here by just adding or deleting the key themes or value pillars in line. The report starts off with an executive summary, followed by some key themes and trends that it's seeing. And then at the end, you have recommended action items on your end. After that, you can assign themes to each insight. So it's going to go insight by insight and apply the themes that are most relevant based on what we just created. So that's where we can add in our own or just use the ones that AI created using our data. Next, we are going to do the same thing for value pillars. And the final step is going to be our website alignment analysis. So what you can do is just plug in your company website, and then it's going to review the analysis report that it created and identify areas on your website where maybe there's a mismatch between the messaging on your website and the end user feedback. So it's going to first call out the location where it found this. It's going to then connect it to end user feedback, tell you the alignment, and what the sentiment currently looks like, and then provide some suggestions for rewording. Again, this is all sample data, but you can imagine how powerful this can be when using your actual company data, because now we can identify, simple low-hanging fruit, whether it's maybe just rewording something on our website, or maybe it's just incorporating a net new feature on our website, or maybe it's something that, like, from a process standpoint, we need to improve on. And then lastly, it's going to identify areas where it may have not found content on certain topics that were discovered during the customer feedback sessions. So in this example, that might look like having our product next to our competitors' products, or maybe video content highlighting how easy it is to clean and maintain the furniture. And then from there, you're going to be able to go into your dashboard. This is a really simple dashboard. So at the top, we have a summary for this specific report. So you'll see our analysis that we initially generated, and then also the website alignment. And then you have the insights grouped by themes. We also have our value pillars and the changes, positive and negative, over time, and also just an aggregate of the total positive and negative mentions across different value pillars. And then we can also deep dive into specific value pillars. So over here, we have a summary on this value pillar, and we can dig into all the individual themes that make up this value pillar, and then recommendations on how we can improve in this specific area. And then down here below that, we have all the insights categorized by themes that are related to this value pillar. Now from here, we're going to go into our data layer and talk about some of the different tables and automations that kind of make everything work. We're going to start out with our sources table. So this is that table where we imported data initially. Pretty straightforward. We have a source type, customer name, source content, a date, URL, etc. And then from there, we link this table over to insights. So this is where AI generates all the different insights for each of the pieces of feedback. We have a field agent right here, which categorizes it by feedback type. So we have request, praise, complaint, bug, other. You can add in additional options if you'd like. Same thing for sentiment. We have positive and negative, but if you'd like to add in neutral or some other type of wording, you could do that right there. And then each of the insights is going to be linked to value pillars, which we'll talk about shortly. And then the rest of these fields are pretty much like lookup fields and then other linked record fields. The next table is going to be for our themes. This is a pretty straightforward table as well. So we have our theme names. These are the ones that auto-generate with AI, or we can add in our own. Then we have these individual themes that are linked back to insights, and then everything, of course, gets linked back to reports. We also have roll-up fields that are going to count the positive and negative mentions across the different insights. And then similar to this, we have value pillars. For this one, we have a field agent that is going to summarize all the data that we have here. So you can kind of read through this prompt. If you want to change the output format, you can come in here and adjust the formatting, and that will change the way you receive that report. And then for the headline, it's just going to take that entire analysis and generate a quick 5 to 7 word summary on this value pillar. And of course, at the end, we have our roll-ups with positive and negative mentions from the insights table. And then the last table that we're going to talk about is our reports table. This has links to the insights, themes, value pillars, and also sources. So over here, you can see all of that content that we have from all the different insights. And then our analysis agent, which is going to create that report. Basically, this is the prompt behind it. We will talk briefly about this as well during the automation section, but this is the output that you're going to be getting from that analysis. And then over here, we kind of put these off to the side. These are just status fields. If you recall, when we went through and generated some of these AI reports, you may see that going from 0 to 100 or updating status saying it's generating. That's more of a UI thing, but we thought we'd leave it in there. Let's now talk about automation. So the first automation is going to be assigning the report to the sources. The second one is anytime insights are created, we are going to assign the report to them. Next, we are going to create the analysis. So when we click on the button, it is going to update the record to say that it is generating the summary. Remember the status field from the reports table. Then we have AI, which is using that pretty much that same prompt that you saw earlier. And it is going to generate an analysis. Again, if you want to change the structure or the formatting, you can come into here and update this prompt right here, and it will change the way that you view that data. You can also adjust the AI models as well. And then we have the update analysis. I'm sorry, it's going to go ahead and paste that response into the analysis field. And then it's going to start the next step, which is extracting themes. So it's going to update the status to extracting themes. This is where it's going to look through all of the insights, and it's going to basically identify the common themes that it's seeing based on the customer feedback. And then it's going to output those comma separated values into the themes field, and then start working on the value pillars. So here we have, a requirement that should be about 3 to 6 value pillars. We don't want too many of them, but again, you can adjust that if you'd like. Same thing, it's going to output it in comma separated values into the value pillars linked record field. Next is our website alignment analysis. So when we click that button, that's going to be our trigger. It is going to run this prompt right here, and it's going to use our company website and that analysis report that we generated as the inputs, and then it is going to generate a formatted report for us. If you once again, if you want to change the formatting, you can go ahead and do that there. And then it's just going to output that in that website and alignment field. Next, we have another trigger where it uses the button, and it is going to find all of the sources related to this report, and then it is going to use AI to go one by one and extract insights for each of the pieces of feedback that we have on the sources table. And it's going to output that data as comma separated values if there's going to be more than one. And then it's going to go ahead and output that response in the insights field in the sources table. Next, this is going to be for the assigning value pillars to each insight. So first it's going to find all the insights, then it's going to find all the value pillars, and then one by one, it is going to go through the insights and assign value pillars for each insight. And then this is the prompt that we have to match predefined value pillars to each insight. And then it's going to output that response into the value pillar linked record field found on the insights table. We're going to then do the same exact thing, but for themes. And once again, pretty much the same configuration, except it's going to be for themes, and it's going to output that in the themes field. And then lastly, we have our value pillar summary. So in the interface, if you want to generate a summary for each value pillar, you can go ahead and click on the button, and it will generate the summary and the headline for each of the value pillars. So you can see updating the response directly here in the summary field, and then it's going to do the same thing for the headline. So we're taking that summary and condensing it down into just a few words. That wraps up the deep dive for this AI playbook. We look forward to seeing what you all build and hearing all your feedback.